Hey everyone, it's Felicia Johnson and welcome back to my YouTube channel. You all are always asking about our nurses and the great work that they do. So I'm doing a whole spotlight on our nurses, and the first one is Jessica Baxter. She is our day nurse, and we have two day nurses. So I'm actually gonna hop out of the screen and I'm gonna interview Jess, and I'm also gonna have some awesome little highlights of her and Callie throughout the video, so stay tuned because you will see Callie in this video.
I had this feeling that I was put in this lifetime on this earth to do two things, and one of them was to be a nurse. While I was going through nursing school, and even when I was a volunteer, there was just something that really bummed me out about not being able to follow through with my patients. I was able to work with them, I was able to treat them, take care of them, and then the next week I would come back and they would be gone. And I would always wonder, how's Mr. Rogers doing? How's Miss Jones doing? How's little Billy doing? Like, it just bugged me that I didn't get to see that follow through. And so the idea of home health piqued my interest because I knew with working with patients and clients long term, I would be able to see their progression and see those milestones, and I wouldn't go home wondering how they were doing and if I would ever see them again. I also really like the idea of, I'm your girl. I'm your nurse here. There's no button that I hit, for backup. I'm your PT, I'm your OT, I'm your speech therapy, I'm your respiratory therapy. I'm all of it for you. And I liked that I could be me and more than just the nurse in the home. So I like to, just get Callie ready for the day. That's the first thing we all do, we get ready for our day. So I like to have a routine with her. I feel like consistency and routines are really good for people in general, and especially medically complex kiddos. So we have our routine, we have our stretches, we have our dances, we have our cares. And then I just like to get her started with some playtime or some PT and OT, just really utilize those fresh morning hours to do things where has the energy, she's excited, she's ready to go. I have seen kiddos and adults for that matter who still can't do things that Callie can do. And when I saw that and then I got here, I knew when I signed up to start with Callie, being as young as she was, it was like a blank canvas for me to work with, and I loved that. I just wanted to utilize the fact that she was still growing and developing, and she was only giving us, 5% when she got home after being in the hospital for so many months of her life. I knew after about a month of working with her, I was like, okay, this girl is capable. This girl has perseverance, she is resilient, she is strong. And so I kind of knew I wanted to really focus on physical therapy with Callie. I saw what she was capable of, I felt it working with her, and I saw her drive. I saw it in those eyes. And I also like to really challenge her mentally as well. That's why sometimes you'll see me completely back off and I won't show her how to use a toy, or I won't slide something closer to her that's out of reach, because I really want to challenge that mental to physical connection as well, because those two really go hand in hand. I kind of had an intrigue. I saw two deaf people communicating when I was young, and we don't talk about the deaf culture in school. It's not taught to us unless you are part of it or unless you pursue it. So I am not deaf, and therefore to be a part of that community or explore that community, I knew I needed to pursue. So I just had an interest in ASL, and I love it. I strongly recommend to people to just learn the basics. You never know when you're gonna run into a deaf person, and it's really rewarding to be able to communicate with them. So I feel one of the strongest, if not the first and foremost, misconception of home health is that people automatically assume I'm taking care of a vegetable here. That is not the case. And if anybody follows you in Rome, they know Callie is not that. But I will say for a typical person with no background in anything medical, when you hear ventilator, when you hear feeding tube, our minds automatically go to worst case scenario in that sense. And so that's why I try and mention those things last when I'm explaining, you know, what I need to do for Callie on a day-to-day basis. Some people, you know, don't hear that she's actually off the vent all day long and we're working toward getting her off at night. They hear feeding tube. They hear, you know, disability. And so if I could educate everybody in the world, I would. I just don't have that power. But what I can do is in those moments, in those conversations with people, I can explain to them in layman's terms the best I can possibly do is she is capable of anything and everything we can do. She just might not do it the same way and she might not get there as quickly. But I'm not here to define normal. I am not here to define, you know, usual. I'm also not here to define the opposite of those. And I'm not going to place Callie or any other kid or any other adult with medical complexities or disabilities in that category. That's not my place. But what I can do is inform those people that even though it looks different than what we're used to seeing, that does not mean it's wrong, that it's bad, and that she cannot get there. I have to say, I really enjoyed watching her and her in treatment with lights. So when we went to the zoo lights, that was one of my favorites. I mean, I don't think that girl blinked. So to me, that was really telling of like where her focus is and her interests are and what I wanted to incorporate, you know, in her daily routine and care and activities. But that was really fun to watch. You know, we knew she liked the light toys at home, but it was fun to see that extend to other things. So that was one of my favorite Callie moments. I would definitely say that girl is strong. And I get to see that, you know, I feel that when I'm working with her. I see that she is strong and she is determined. And then the last one, that girl has sass. She will not and does not want to do what she does not want to do. And she tells us, she may not be able to talk, but she tells us. Callie has taught me, the biggest and foremost, Callie has taught me that don't underestimate anyone. And I say that because, you know, Callie came home a little girl on the vent, on the pulse ox machine, you know, on all these different cords and wires and tubes, and you know, she wouldn't sit. She always wanted to lay down. That girl did not want to do work. And now, I mean, we fast forward less than a year after she's been home. I mean, and she's already hit so many milestones. But when she first came home, just by looking at her, seeing your guys' journey in the hospital, you never would have probably guessed she would have been this far along and have this great prognosis and this great development. So I would say Callie has taught me, don't underestimate me. And that goes for anyone and everyone.
All right, everyone. So thank you for watching the Spotlight on Jessica. And I feel like if you watch the whole entire thing and you're here at this point, you can understand why she's part of our family and why we picked her and why Callie is succeeding so well. It is a team effort. So it takes a village to raise a child. And I always say this, our village just looks a little different. When we came into this process, we thought our village would be family and friends. But our village is nurses, it's Jess, it's Marissa, it's Jane, it's our doctors and pediatricians. So different doesn't mean it's bad, as Jess was saying earlier. This is just a different type of norm. And so I appreciate you for following our journey, and I wanted to just spotlight the individuals who are so important to our life and so important to Callie thriving, but also educate you all on what home health looks like. And let's take away that stigma that it's bad, take away that stigma that those who have nurses in the home don't thrive, because Callie's thriving, and she's thriving because of the support we have. So thank you for following along. Thank you for being educated today, and come back because I am highlighting 2 more nurses. So you will see another day nurse as well as a night nurse. So thanks for tuning in.